Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are going to tackle statistics. And look, if that word just brings back nightmares of a stuffy math class, take a deep breath. We're going to talk about it for what it really is, an amazing tool for making sense of pretty much everything around us. So let's just dive right in.
Yeah, I know. You see a cloud of words like this, inferential, estimation, procedure, and your brain just kind of wants to check out, right? But I promise you, stick with me for a few minutes and we are going to turn this complicated-looking mess into a couple of simple, powerful ideas that you can actually use. Because at its heart, this is all statistics really is. It's a process. Think of it like a toolbox that we use to take a big, messy pile of information, what we call data, and just bring some order to it all. The whole point is to collect it, analyze it, and organize it until we can tell a clear story with it. So how does it tell that story? Well, statistics pretty much has two main jobs. You can think of them as two major branches that do very different things. One is all about describing what we already know, and the other is about trying to predict what we don't know.
You can see it right here. Over on the left, you've got descriptive statistics. Think of this one as being the historian. It looks at all the data we've collected and summarizes it into something super easy to digest, like a chart or just one simple number. But on the right, you've got inferential statistics. This one's more like a detective. It takes a small piece of evidence and tries to make a really good educated guess, an inference about the whole big picture. Let's break that down just a bit more. So, descriptive statistics is all about showing you the data you already have. If I ask, what was the average score on the last class test? That's descriptive. But inferential statistics, that takes a leap. It uses a small group, a sample, to make a general statement about a much bigger group. It's how pollsters try to predict elections or how scientists figure out if a new medicine actually works. So remember this, one describes, the other predicts.
That whole idea of using a small group to understand a huge one is, well, it's absolutely fundamental to how statistics works. And to really get it, we need to be super clear on two key terms, population and sample.
Think of it like this. Let's say you're making a giant pot of soup. To know how it tastes, you don't have to eat the entire pot, right? Of course not. You just taste one spoonful. Well, in statistics, that entire pot of soup is the population. That's the whole group you're interested in. And that one little spoonful, that's your sample. We study the sample to understand the whole population.
So to put it a little more formally, the population is everyone, or everything you want to study. It could be every single voter in a country, or every light bulb made in a factory. And since it's usually impossible or just way too expensive to check every single one, we pick a sample, a smaller, manageable group that hopefully represents the bigger population.
Okay, so once we've got our data, whether it's from a sample or a whole population, one of the very first things we usually want to do is find a single number that can kind of represent the whole group. We call this finding the typical value, or the center of the data.
I really like this quote because it just nails it. We're looking for the data's center of gravity, a measure of central tendency. I know it sounds super technical, but it's just a fancy way of asking a really simple question. What is the most typical, most representative number in our whole set of data?
And there are three main ways we find that center. The mean is just what most of us call the average. You just add them all up and divide. The median is the number that's smack dab in the middle after you've lined up all your numbers from smallest to biggest. And the mode? That's the easiest one of all. It's just the number that shows up most often. All right, enough theory. The best way to get a feel for this stuff is to just do it. So let's grab a quick set of data and actually calculate our mean, median, and mode. We're going to use this data right here. It's the daily smartphone use in minutes for a small sample of 7 people. I think that's a pretty relatable topic for most of us. So let's find the center of this data. First up, the mean. The process is really straightforward. We just add all of those values together. That gives us a grand total of 1,398. Then we divide that big number by how many people we have in our group, which is 7.
And voila! That gives us a mean of 199.71 minutes. So we can say that the average person in this group spends, well, pretty much 200 minutes on their phone every day. See? Simple enough.
Okay, now for the median. And this is so important. You have to put the numbers in order first. You can't find the median without doing that. So we rearrange them from the smallest, 166, all the way up to the largest, 237. Now with 7 numbers, the middle one is pretty easy to spot. It's the 4th one in our list.
And that number is 195. So the median, the literal middle point of our data, is 195 minutes.
What that means is half the people in the group use their phones less than that, and the other half use it more.
All right, time for the last one, and it's the easiest one, the mode. Just take a quick look at our list of numbers here. Do you see any number that pops up more than the others?
Yep, you got it. The number 195 shows up twice, and every other number is just there once. So that makes our mode 195 minutes. It's actually kind of interesting that for this set of data, the median and the mode ended up being the exact same number. So I want to leave you with this question. You now know that the word average can actually mean a few different things. So if you see a report that says the average salary for a job is $50,000, pause and think about it. If one CEO in that group makes millions, that single high number would pull the mean salary way up, but it wouldn't really change the median, the salary of the person in the middle, very much at all. So which average is telling you the real story? That's the power of statistics. It helps you ask the right questions about the data you see every single day.